हेलो मोटरसाइकिलिंग वर्ल्ड ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ सभी को नमस्कार ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಂ अंदरिकी नमस्कारमु hope all of you are doing fine. In the last video regarding the Pro-Spec Easy Cruz installation that I made showing how to install it, I had mentioned that I'll also try and post the usage or the initial impressions video. I've had it for about, I would say, 3,000 kilometers roughly. I've used it on the highway. Currently I have it on my KTM full time, the 390 Adventure. It's a useful thing. I use it in two ways, right? For the highway, so this is where it's completely free play, right? Then we bring it to this position while you're on the highway, the nearest friction position, or where I do not know the right word, where this will hold it. So if you see, as you rotate, there is a bite point post which the accelerator will stay where you put it, right? Now when you're using it on the highway, I would seriously recommend you practice using it, because muscle memory has to be adopted. So when you're using it on the highway, you can just set it. It will keep the acceleration or the RPMs constant by locking the accelerator position, right? And that will help you ease the strain on your right hand, wherein you don't have to hold the accelerator or keep it in a locked position. So I'm currently resting my hand on the accelerator, and I've learned how to set it to the biting point exactly, wherein if I move my hand even a little bit, or if there is a jerk or let's say disturbance or an uneven patch on the road, the accelerator rolls off, right? Otherwise it stays in position, so I don't have to keep holding it and keep applying pressure. I just rest my hand on the accelerator and we keep going, right? This is the first usage. Let me get out of this lorry driver's way. Right, this is the first usage, purely highway or open roads, where you can use your hand just resting on the accelerator and not doing anything else. You can also hold the knob and rotate it to your desired position. For example, I want to be at 5,000 RPM, right? I have locked it around that, and then I can just keep my hand like this and then keep going, right? The RPM isn't dropping unless there is a variation, whether there is an incline or a decline in the road. Otherwise my hands, the stress on my hand is reduced. This is one way of using it. Now the other way I use it is this is because of a fault in the KTM's ride by wire fueling, or the ride by wire mechanism. I wouldn't call it a fault, but it's more of a limitation, wherein there is a certain snatchiness from zero to when the accelerator kicks in, right? So when I'm doing off-roading, or where I need let me put it this way, when I'm in situations where I need finite throttle control, like I don't want that snatchiness to interfere with my pace or my slow moving ability, so I set it to a little bit of a spot where it latches on, but now it's locked and the bike is still moving. The RPMs are at 4,000, right? Now let me remove that friction. So now the biting point doesn't bite. I am very near to the biting point. So what it has enabled me to do is it has made the accelerator a little hard. When I say hard, harder to rotate. By virtue of that, I am able to rotate the accelerator evenly without that jerkiness of a free accelerator. So I am able to accelerate evenly, right, in slow moving situations. Hence I find it a little comforting than KTM's stock setup in slow moving situations, wherein I'm not constantly moving back and forth because of the snatchiness, and I don't have to put so much pressure on my palms in turn to my wrist and causing mental exhaustion or stress. So that's one use. So totally I find this worth the money, 2,250 if I'm not wrong, when I purchased it. Installation is a breeze. It's a DIY job. I've made a video on that. Okay, of course, that video is the reason we are speaking now. So all in all, a product worth its money. And I should say the build quality, when I say build quality, the manufacturing quality is spot on. The threads are super smooth when you are screwing it on or screwing it off, and you know it's fully made of metal, and it's quite sturdy. It's not a flimsy part, right? And I do not know what these markings are, right? There are alphabets on this, but you know, I figured out the usage, so I don't need to know what those alphabets mean. So I would say it's a product worth spending on, especially if you're somebody who tours long distances. It's a great product to have on your motorcycle. But word of caution, please ensure you get used to it before using it on the highway or in traffic. In traffic, I would recommend not to use it, because you might often forget that your accelerator has this ability to, you know, be at one point, and then you might run into unwanted situations. So that's my 2 cents on the Pro-Spec Easy Cruz for KTM 390 Adventure. Keep riding, ride safe. See you in the next video.